right, you've decided you need to move to a new home, but you currently own one, and you're trying to figure out, how do I do both of these things at the same time? Well, let's talk about that. My name is mschumann, and I am a realtor here in the Twin Cities. I think the idea of buying and selling at the same time can be very intimidating and nerve-wracking to people, and I get it. It's a lot of uncertainty and stress to handle. Moving is not fun, particularly if your household is larger and includes children and pets, and you're thinking, there is absolutely no way I can deal with temporary housing, and also I am not doing this twice. So how do people handle this? Because yes, people do it every day, and it is a common thing to deal with in making a move. So let's talk about the common ways that people deal with selling their home and buying a new one at the same time. So I'm going to take these from the weakest position to the strongest, and we're going to start with number one, which is to purchase a home contingent on the sale of your current home. In previous markets that maybe favored buyers more, you may have been able to get a home sale contingency on your purchase agreement contract for a new home, no problem. This means that the purchase that you're making would be contingent on, basically kind of you starting from scratch on finding a buyer for your current property. You don't have one yet, and you can still get that contingency in some cases, but I would consider this the one that creates a very tenuous situation for actually you as the buyer of a new home, because the seller can demand the removal of this contingency at any time, and they also may continue to market that property to other buyers until this contingency is removed. So they're going to ask you to put up or shut up, and the seller may get other offers. They will continue to seek those other offers, and if they do get one that is not contingent on the sale of a property, or one that just has better terms in general, they can demand that you remove this contingency from your offer, and if you don't agree because you can't, they will cancel with you and accept that other offer. So I've had buyers get a lower priced offer than the one that the seller had accepted with this particular contingency in place, come along and they knock that higher priced offer out of contention. So they canceled with the original buyer and took our buyer's offer even though it wasn't for as much money. There is a lot more to this contingency than just this little bit, but you can see what a weak position it puts you in as a buyer to have this as part of your purchase agreement. Other reasons that this is less than attractive is that you've introduced a whole new set of people into the transaction for the seller, and the closing is dependent on them as well. So how do we know that the agent helping you on the sell side of your home has picked the right price? Is the home being marketed properly? What will your buyer look like financially, and what kinds of contingencies will they be looking for? So this whole thing just kind of multiplies and snowballs the risk for the seller. In other words, we're going to try to avoid this one if we can. And I will say that from the buy side, this is one contingency that I do not mind leaving in property searches because it is so easy to bump off the competition on this one. Number two is to avoid this entirely by selling your primary home first. And by sell, I just mean having a solid contract written on it and having it already passed any inspections and other contingencies that could derail the transaction, as well as having a closing date that is on or before a date that is far enough out for you to find a new home before you need to be out. So that sounds like a lot, but what this would mean is that you would write the contract on the new home simply on the contingency that your sale on your current home actually close, not that you would have to start from scratch and find a buyer from square one. Sellers hold a lot of power, at least here in the Twin Cities, and they can dictate a lot of terms. And in this case, I'm thinking of you as the seller. Buyers are often willing to do a lot to get a home, so they will do things like agree to close dates that are more desirable to you as the seller. Maybe 60 days instead of 30 to 45 days. They may agree to rent backs and all kinds of things. So these are things that you, as the seller, can ask for in your purchase agreement. and you'll have to provide the signed purchase agreement to the listing agent of the home that you actually buy in the new location. And you can expect that the agent for the seller on that side is going to investigate this thoroughly to protect their sellers. They will talk to the buyer's agent of your home. They will talk to the buyer's lender. They're going to do everything possible to ensure that accepting this offer is not going to mean a canceled purchase agreement further on down the line for their seller if your home fails to close. When sellers get a contract, they want it to be absolutely as clean as possible, and clean in this case means they want as few opportunities for this to fall apart, so as few contingencies as possible. So this one still is not the cleanest that it can be. If the house doesn't close, the purchase agreement on the new home is canceled too, and everyone starts back at the beginning unless you can work something out. This is not ideal. So number 3 is a bridge loan, and we are still in a pretty strong seller's market here in the Twin Cities, and that means that good homes priced properly are going to have multiple offers, and you want your offer to look the prettiest and the most desirable. So if you want to avoid having to put a home sale contingency into your offer, another option is to talk to your lender about a bridge loan. And a bridge loan is simply a second mortgage on your current home that you will be selling, and it allows you to have the money to put a down payment on a new house and leave the sellers completely out of the fact that you still have to sell another house. Puts all the risk on you rather than including the seller of the home that you want to buy, and this is definitely more attractive to a seller. They are short-term loans and they do have higher interest rates. You'll likely need a decent amount of equity in your current home for this to work, but you can talk to a lender and get a clear understanding of where this may be a good choice for you. The second mortgage is paid off when you close on the sale of your home. You have to know the market that you're moving from and have a really good understanding of how fast your current home will sell, and make sure that your current home is really ready to go and in the best position possible for a sale, netting the most amount of money, and you want it to happen quickly, obviously. You'll want to talk to an agent about what should be done in advance to get the house ready, and potentially staging the home, as well as what the correct price is going to be to generate a lot of buzz and hopefully get that high, fast offer out the gate. I have a home seller prep sheet that I've loaded in the description box down below this video. It's free, you can download it if you like. Also, I really love talking to people that find me on YouTube, so if you have questions, please feel free to reach out. My contact information is down there below as well. Thanks so much for watching.